Good morning and welcome to Spirituality Gone Wild. I am Debbie G. It is time for a cup of grata. That is with a shot of expression and 2 squirts of reality. Today's show is going to rock. We're going to be diving into quantum universes. What is a quantum universe? I love this and I love all of it. But before we do, we're going to actually go into a short state of meditation to get ready to go into this discussion of quantum universes. Our guest today is Reverend Angie LaRue, by the way. If you remember her, she was on just, I think it was last week. Amazing, incredible experience. She is magic. She is magic. So, without further ado, let's feel into the energy of Jonathan and Andy Goldman, and I will be right back with Angie LaRue. Ah. Ooh. And that is a way to start your morning, right?
Yes, that's beautiful.
Jonathan and Andy Goldman, thank you so much for bringing out some of the most incredible sound healing. It is time for a cup of gratitude, a cup of grata with a shot of expression, and two squirts of reality. Today, the wonderful Reverend Angie LaRue is back with us as my co-squirt. So, welcome, co-squirt.
Welcome, welcome. Good morning, Debbie, and good morning, everybody out there who's watching. Thank you for being here and being a part of this. I don't know where we're heading, but I'm sure it'll be interesting.
We're gonna be heading deep. So, those of you who are jumping on, I'm gonna offer this. Please, just if you want, go on a deep dive with us. We're going to talk about quantum universes. What is a
Mm,
multiverse? How do you quantum jump? What is quantum jumping? What? And
yay.
guess what? Doc, Reverend, I want to call you doctor. Doctor. What did you call you, doctor? Doctor. Give me the news. I gotta. Okay. So seriously, let's take a dive. Quantum universes. Let's just start. What is a quantum universe?
I'm going to call it a fractal universe with multiple layers, dimensions, and planes, far beyond what our human minds can conceptualize.
Mm.
And it being one of many, and each one having a different rule set it operates by. Completely different set of fundamental physics. So what might be true in one universe isn't necessarily true or possibly even in existence in another universe.
Okay. Tell me about some experiences that you've had that have shown you the different variables in these universes.
So one time I took a gentleman, an engineer in Sweden, on a shamanic journey.
Mm.
And I forgot to ask him where he wanted to go. And there was a certain level of comfortability and understanding and soul matching between us where that just seemed so inconsequential. I knew we would arrive wherever
Yeah.
um, his intention was. And off we went. And I remember we picked up this little hitchhiker, and it presented itself as a fetus, a baby fetus. And every time we tried to look at it to understand why in our little star Merkaba, which we were using as a spaceship, that we had a third being with us, and we'd look and it would twink out. It would just twink out into some other, I don't know where. And when we would look away and look back to the wormhole we were traveling in, it would reappear again. And this went on for the longest time. And eventually, we came to this place where there was an intersection of gold lines. It was like just tens of thousands of gold lines coming in from all points to one point. And we understood that this was like an intersection of universes where they
Mm-hmm.
all kind of met here. And all the streaming lights was energy and information and beings that were traveling on this like kind of super galactic freeway, right? And we came to a full stop. Weren't expecting this, and we didn't know what to do about it. And this gentleman was like going, "Where do we go?" And I'm like, "I don't know, pick one." And he's like, "Well, how do I know which one to pick?" And I was like, "Feel inside yourself. Just choose. Just make a choice." And so we did. We made a choice. We jumped on one, and we came out into a universe. This is very hard to explain because it very quickly goes beyond human conceptual understanding. And so I'm going to put things together that don't make sense. All right. So kind of the background space of this universe that we landed in was kind of a fluidic gas. And in it were these beings of all different sizes and shapes. There was no planets, there was no suns, no asteroid, no nebulas. But it was these large beings that vaguely resembled jellyfish and whales and things like that. And they swam around. And some of them had attracted much smaller beings that swam with them. And so, to put it in a human analogy, some of these very large jellyfish beings were like suns that had attracted little planets. And then the little planets in turn were supporting and hosting some kind of life in them. And I remember my engineering friend kept going, well, that's defying, what was it? That's defying the laws of physics as we know it. That is not understandable based on the universe we came from. Over and over and over, he was just in shock, trying to take it all in. And I remember there was this one being that kind of came up to our little ship and became aware of us. And I thought it was going to eat us. I
Okay.
thought it was just going to eat us, but I couldn't see a mouth. But that was the sense, was it was somehow grazing and had run across us.
Oh, jeez. Wow. Okay.
And I remember, as I had that understanding of what it was sensing and what its desires were, I remember seeing this little fetus that had been traveling with us wink out, right? And it had the same understanding, and it was like, I'm out here. And then I don't remember what exactly changed that, but I think a bigger being came along. And when the bigger being came along, that being that was contemplating us decided to leave. And so this went on for quite a while, and we were just reduced to just, wow, what? We were trying to discuss what we were seeing, but it just reached this point where we couldn't anymore. We just didn't have words anymore to discuss
Right.
what we were seeing, and everything just sounded like babble anyway.
And I'm
So
noticing like your energy, like, okay, so this happened last time. You guys can watch like the minute that she starts talking about beings, her screen starts mucking up every time. Okay, what I swear it's just hilarious. And now that I noticed it, it'll clear up. Watch. No, I mean, but seriously. So what I'm really hearing in this is that you went on this journey, this shamanic trip with someone, and you're both experiencing the same the same environment, the same quantum universe. And what do you think was so what did you bring back from that to help you here in your human life? Because that's
and
why we're here, to do human easier. So how are we going to use that quantum experience now and integrate that?
and I should say, this was not a shamanic journey with plant medicine, or there was nothing like that.
Wow.
This,
Wow. Okay.
yeah, this is a crystalline journey where you build a particular circuit and you go inside the circuit. Yeah, it was there was
Oh,
yeah, there was
so wait a minute.
no.
Oh, hold on. You just said something a little bit ago, though, and I caught it. Soul matching, soul fabric of the soul. You guys, and real quick, I'm going to ask this question about this, but I want to just recognize, Jed. I do see you. I will get to your question, honey. That's a great question. Okay, so this person that you were with, do you meet those people? Anybody else out? You meet those people, and you're just smack aligned. You don't need words ever. I was talking to one of my friends last night, Paul McFarland, who's one of my dearest loves, and no words are ever needed. Like I got the hit last night to call him, okay? And right when he needed somebody to hear him. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm really picking up from this that you're describing is not only the excellent description, thank you, but also the soul connection and the soul match that you had with this person. And let's really define a soul match and what those are, because this has to do with our quantum journey.
Well, I think for today, how I would explain that is we we kind of constitute a band of frequencies, each one of us. And this, this is the flavors of our moods, our emotions, our beliefs, our thoughts, the totality of who we are. And it exists in a bunch of bands. And so when we meet another person and our bands match up, we can link together, right? And, and there's another aspect of it of when have our souls met before? Other lives, other dimensions, other worlds, and how much time were we with them then? What was developed during those other existences together? So, and I'm sure there's more that goes into that. There are soul families and soul pods and this and that, but and those are things that we can investigate, right, to find out if it's our frequencies are just really matching up in a beautiful, beautiful way. But in fact, we've never met each other before, right? Or we can check out, have there been past lives together? Have there been other, games that we played on the great stage together, other roles that we've taken with one another?
Mm-hmm.
And this gentleman and I, definitely shared some stuff. And I don't recall that it was actually past life. I actually don't remember in this moment if we ever even looked into that or not. But there was a lot going on. And I asked him when we returned, because we were just staggered. Actually, both of us were staggered by what we had seen and experienced. And so after a while, we could talk again and ask him. I was like, by the way, what was your inquiry? What was it you wanted to know? What were we doing on this journey? And he goes, oh, I wanted to know if there was other universes. I was like, oh my God. Well, now we know.
Oh my God, that's just so cool. Well, but both of you are experiencing this, and this is where that it gets so. I think it's the most gorgeous part of the story, because this isn't just your recollection, but something you both were seeing together. And that to me is just but it is what it, like, when you're in a deep conversation with somebody and you're going flowing back and forth and you both see it and you build, but you see, I know what you're talking about. Have you ever just had a vision together with somebody, anyone out there, and it just kept unfolding and both of you could see what was happening?
Oh, yeah. We were both gasping at the same time. We were both going, ooh, at the same time. And then we would discuss some of the things that we were seeing, at least for a while. And after a while, it just was so incomprehensible. There was just no words. There was just nothing that could be said.
Okay. I just love that. Thank you for sharing that. And I really wanted to go deep with this, because it's been my experience during quantum meditations where I've decided to jump and I want to go play piano, for instance. I do a quantum jump, come back, I played piano. I recorded it. Okay, it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Working. So then I started playing a little bit more. Our imagination, or what we coin and label as the imagination, is the creative field of the universe. It's where all creation is, and everything that we are doing right now was once imagined. There's nothing right here that wasn't once in the imagination. Had you said to somebody back in the early 1900s that we would be doing this here right now and that I had a vision and that this is what was going to happen, everybody would have said, burn the witch at the freaking stake. Now, die. You bad, you scary, evil thing, you. And here we are all these years later, and what was once imagined, and people thought you were crazy, weird, off your rocker, but yada, yada, whatever, with the fear based beliefs and shit that we were brought up with,
Well, quantum
to
physics is
now.
looking at this now. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, they totally
you,
are. But this is
yeah.
it right here. So before anybody judges the overall idea of someone's experience, remember where we were 100 years ago and where we are right this very. Remember where you were when you were born. If you were 50, I'm 53 years old, 68. We did not have any of this. In fact, we didn't have we did have telephones. Just saying. But if so, just open that mind, expand out there. That's really what
Well,
I'm wanting
when did the
to get
government
across.
begin the remote viewing projects? When was that? That
In the
wasn't that the
50s.
yeah. So I mean, there were
Hmm.
aspects of humanity already looking at this stuff, even on official levels
Yeah, they used it for trading.
when
In
we were
fact,
born.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. They were already doing all this. So, yeah, the remote viewing, the tapping into the psychic abilities to help us. Yeah, yeah, it's all been done. And what's beautiful is we're all realizing that we have these innate gifts within us, and that's the reason you're here today, is to shed light more, a little bit more. Okay, here's a little bit more to see and expand on and look at. So I want to get into this question because I think it's a good one. So as trauma creates fragmentation, is this where you split off from your conscious to join other realms?
Yes, that can happen. Certainly. And I think there's some of us who first found the ability to leave our body as consciousness through trauma. That's a very natural, I hate to
Totally,
say it,
yeah.
way of learning how to get out of body. Um, it is possible to do soul fragment recoveries, though, when we lose bits of our pieces out there. It's possible to get those back and reintegrate them again. Um,
Yeah.
and when you do that, that's pretty great because you're coming back far more abled and you don't have, well, my experience is I don't carry any of the trauma with me anymore at all, is my experience. So, yeah, that's a really great question. And yes. And can you read it again? Because there's another layer to that.
Hmm, hmm. Here, let's just put that up here. Okay. So, as trauma creates fragmentation, is this where you split off from your conscious to join other realms?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, so the word fragmentation is really capturing me. I don't know if I really want to talk about the MK Ultra stuff or not, but I'll just say that it is important to recapture your bits and pieces and get sovereignty back over yourself if there's been fragmentation from trauma. But in and of
Mm.
itself, it doesn't necessarily need to be a big deal. It's pretty easy to recover your bits and pieces and drop the trauma and still have, and now, have the ability to go out of body as you wish. And in fact, that's what I do now. I open wormholes just in a heartbeat, and I can take whole rooms full of people to other places, other times. Well, if time is linear, which it's not, but yeah, wherever we want to go in what we would consider a timeline, which
Mhm.
isn't a timeline, but
So, in the human experience, it's been, well, what I've experienced is the reason to do it is to integrate all those pieces. I think that must be what, now I'm kind of getting it. So, through all the trauma, maybe there were fragmentations, and that's why I was so pulled to quantum exploration a few years ago with um, Burt Goldman. One of the, I don't know if you, do you know who Burt Goldman was? He's like 90 right now. He started his exploration with quantum jumping about in his 60s, and he came back to be an amazing artist and a lot of other things, but he was teaching the process. And so my friend Bob Miller, who's no longer here on the earth plane, introduced me to it, and I'm like, wow, this is kind of cool. Like, you just do this through meditation. And I think a lot of people, I remember back, one of the reasons meditation was so hard, people say, well, my mind's too busy, my mind's too busy. No, I think it's that fear of letting go, that you're going to actually see things or see the truths and stuff like that. So because it's only through the third eye and the mind's eye that you can see these things.
Yeah. Yeah. You kind of toroid into yourself, you know, you kind of dive in and for consciousness to leave. It's kind of almost a toroidal action, if I
Mm,
was to visualize it. But it's shockingly, at least for some of us, shockingly easy to do. I know I would have never dreamed it. I've traveled out of body so much that I finally started kind of recording it. And there's a series on YouTube called Beyond the Wormhole with,
okay.
I think, Reverend Angie LaRue, where I talk about a lot of these experiences. And the woman interviewing me is named Debbie Pulkernick. And it's just endless. Like, it just goes on and on and on.
Okay,
And
so you're in session recording what you're going through while you're being guided by her.
no, it's afterwards.
Oh, it's
Um,
afterwards. Okay.
and a lot of them, had been done a year or two before we even began the series. And I'm just telling them. But what at that time, and I don't have time to do this anymore, but at that time, when we would come back, whoever jumped with me, and then we just call it jumping, um, because there is this moment where you leap into a wormhole, right? When we would come back, before we would talk with each other, we would sit down and would sketch it all out, would draw the pictures of what we had seen. And so in the series, you actually get to see the pictures before we had ever even debriefed it with each other. And there's just no doubt we were all in the same place. And you can't miss it. It's just right there. Now, there's slight changes as we're each seeing it through our own lens, but even, if police are interviewing 10 different people who are at a scene of something, they're going to get 10 slightly varying descriptions because everything is going through the lens of who we are. And you see that there in the pictures that we had drawn afterwards. Yeah, we were all at the same place. And it is, and some people have a tendency to notice some particular details, and other people have the ability to notice other particular details. But yeah.
Isn't that something? And this is so true. Have you ever been to a movie with someone, and everyone coming out has their own perception of the piece that grabbed them, or it's all based on, it's very important what you just said. It's all based upon the lens of your experiences, your perception, your reality, and they're all different. So is it true that there are quantum multiverses? Well, I think that's a really good example right there. Everybody is in their own bubble of their own universe, is what I see. I see everybody in their own, and walking around this planet, it's just that. That's where the vibration comes in, the vibrational frequency. And this is where the importance of your frequency come in, because of all the different variables. I mean, it's limitless.
Well, you can be
It's out
walking
there.
down the street, with a couple friends,
Yeah.
and everybody's just kind of, mentioning what they're noticing, and one person is just completely keyed in to, birds and butterflies and flowers, and,
Yeah.
and another person is completely keyed in to other people, right? And another person, for some bizarre reason, only sees the cracks in the sidewalks, the litter, the trash, the people driving dangerously. These are three people walking down the street experiencing three different realities.
Completely. Completely. I love this. This is where it's at, though. For those of you that are going, this is that. If you even had it for a second thought, well, wait a minute, that makes no sense, or it's crazy. Think about it again. You see, because we're actually walking in it, living in it, period every day. This is where the presence comes in. The presence. So if you're
And
present,
frequency.
but
And
yes,
and
please,
frequency,
let's talk about
right?
that because yeah,
Because what your interior frequency is, and this is all the myriad of little moods and beliefs and stuff that kind of adds up to that. And that frequency can change. Like I said, we each of us is kind of a small bandwidth of frequencies from low to high. And so whatever frequency we are at determines the reality that we are having. So, little example. Yesterday, I was just like, I've got to go shopping. I hadn't been shopping for food in a month and I really, really needed to go. And there's a couple different places I needed to hit. And so I went to kind of like Sprouts, Natural Grocers first, and just pulled into, without manifesting, and I completely forgot to manifest, I pulled into the one parking spot closest to the door. And it was the only one available in the whole parking lot too. Right. I was just
hmm
like, wow, well, that was convenient. Right. So then I go and I get done shopping there. I load up, my car. And as I turn around to go return my cart to the store, the cart guy comes by and he goes, I'll take that. And I was like, thank you. Right. Well, that was all kind of magical. Then I go off and I go to King's Superstore, which is really big and really busy. And again, the spot that is immediately available is the one very closest to the door that's not handicapped. And I'm like, ooh, twice in a row. Same thing. I get done shopping. I come out with my cart, load up my vehicle, and I go to return my cart. And the cart guy comes by and he's like, can I take your cart for you? I'm like, wow, thank you. Yes. And I'm like, wow, universe. Where something is syncing up. I mean, just the flow in that. Not just once, but twice, two different stores, same scenario, right? So for whatever reason, my frequency was lining up with the magic that was available at the we must go shopping, grocery shopping line, right?
I love
And
this.
I was just in flow with the universe. And this can happen in every way of our life. And so when you notice things are just going wrong today, right? It's a Mercury retrograde kind of day, and everything that can go wrong will go wrong. It is really worth doing whatever you can to change your frequency. Put on some dance music, start singing favorite songs that make you feel good. Do whatever. Take that 10 or 15 minutes to shift your frequency, to shift out of the experiential reality plane that you're into a better experiential reality plane. And,
Yep.
the freakiest thing about this universe is our thoughts combined with our emotions seem to be what's producing reality. And you can toy with this and just kind of prove it to yourself over and over and over again. And, I've been in places in situations where I was with friends and I was well meditated and I was, in that high flying, lovely place. And then like maybe we're out walking and somebody has a terrible bicycle accident, and they see it, right?
hmm
And at that moment, I'm looking away at a bird in a tree and I completely miss it. I never even see the accident. And that's reproduced kind of all along our walk where I'm not in the same reality where those unpleasant, painful things are visible.
I completely get this.
Yeah.
Because you have a conversation with somebody, they cannot grasp what you're saying. Have you ever had that conversation with someone? They cannot grasp what you're
Oh, yeah.
saying. You're just like, there's nothing you're going to do. And in fact, I think this is where screwed up communication comes in and where the importance of allow people to have the right to their reality comes in, because everybody deserves the right to have their own reality and their own belief system. If that is what's working for them, that's what's freaking working for them. You see, that's where that it becomes not my job to help somebody in their reality, but rather just be with them or be.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the
It's not
difference that,
it's not
yeah,
spiritually appropriate. to try to
No.
alter somebody else's reality.
Did you
We,
ever start off on this though, thinking that you were going to be here to help the world?
oh, of
I
course.
did. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Like I'm
absolutely.
here to help the world. Oh, talk about that's just codependent spirituality.
Well,
Just
it's a
saying.
distinct place on the awakening trail. When we first awaken, we are so
Yeah.
blown away with love. We just want to pull all of humanity into the reality that we're experiencing. And we just love everybody and we just love everything.
Or you just want to
And
go just go just one gigantic wake up.
mhm, yeah.
Yeah, because you
And,
do.
but we
Yeah,
eventually come out of that
it
and,
does happen.
and
Yeah.
realize that everybody is learning right where they are.
All right.
And, the most fascinating thing about that is down here in these human vehicles. These human vehicles learn best through pain, right? It teaches us unlike anything else. It is that friction in life that forces evolution on this planet, and that's almost true for all beings. We will adapt to whatever that friction is, and we will learn to overcome it, work around it, or allow it to become fuel to some other state of existence. And we see that in the genome, how it's changing, and how animals have evolved and evolved everything. Plants used to not flower, right? There used to be nothing that flowered, and they evolved into this singularity expression of the beauty that was within them, and produce flowers and the ability to, germinate and produce offspring. And so friction, uncomfortability evolves us. And it can take us out of the absolute depths of despair into a beautiful flowering existence of the best that we can be. So to take away, right, somebody's friction, mm, in my understanding of how this quantum universe works, that is not spiritually appropriate to do.
No, in
To
my
hold love for them and hold compassion for them, that is a good thing to
that's
do.
it.
That's a
That's it.
loving
That's
thing.
it. That's it. That's it. Empathy, compassion, holding that space. And then when you hear somebody saying, "Hey, see," because I've discovered without your dark, you wouldn't know your spark. Who are we to stop somebody else's dark? I didn't get here
Mhm,
because somebody.
mhm,
No, that didn't happen. I got here because what I was doing stopped working for me. Period. And when people enter your life and what they're doing has stopped working, and they go, "But I want what you have." And then you try to give them what you have, but that isn't it. It's more like the tools of what you have, the tools of what we do, the tools of practice. What practice? Well, the ones that work for you, that's what practice. And that's what I want to step into right now is the practice, the frequency, and how did you start stepping in? Let's give a main practice today. One, to raise frequency immediately. Two, um, to help us to just stay present in the now.
okay. This is one I teach my students in the Inner Passage Mystery School. And it's called the thymus thump. And what it does is it calms the central nervous system. So it's super hard to shift our frequency when we are deep in the emotional, whatever the trauma drama is that we are in. It is very impossible to just say, okay, I'm going to go put on Abraham Hicks, because Abraham Hicks exists on a different plane, a different frequency than where we are. And we can't even think of it in that moment, right? Because it's
Right.
just, we ain't at that address. But here's something that we can do, and it's the thymus thump. So, um, just below where the collarbones meet.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little flat place right there. And we're going to take a soft fist. And everybody can do this with me. And we're going to do it like a heartbeat. Bump, 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 bump. And allow yourself to notice how there is this immediate, after just a few rounds of thumps, Just like almost like warm honey starts rolling down your spine. This is the vagus nerve calming down right there. And you can begin to modulate your heartbeat from here. You can slow that heartbeat, that thymus thump, so you can slow it down a little bit more. And we can add one more layer to this now. And notice how this makes you want to breathe deeper. Yeah, there we go. We're going to add one more layer to this. And we're going to kind of time it with our thump thump. Centering higher self, conscious self, and inner self. Centering higher self, conscious self, and inner self. Say it with me. Centering
Centering
higher
higher
self,
self,
conscious
conscious
self,
self,
and inner self.
self.
Centering
Centering
higher
higher
self,
self,
conscious
conscious
self,
self,
and inner
and
self.
inner self.
One more round. Do it by yourself. All right. And now allow yourself to just come to a halt on that. And notice how you are suddenly very present, very aware. If your eyes are closed, go ahead and open them. And notice what just shifted for you.
Ha. I feel more bubbly,
Mm.
more awake, more alive, baby.
Actually, I've had a blue shift, right? So right now I'm seeing a lot more blue in the sunlight as I look around me. Things are more blue than they were before. And I'm also right on the edge of dropping into psychic space too. And a lot of that's because I've trained my body on the thymus thump uh, to immediately follow that by dropping into psychic space. So I had to pull out before I went into psychic space because I have entrainment now on the thymus thump to be able to use that to instantly shift planes of consciousness and be able to move out of 3D consciousness into higher realm consciousness, where I can begin to see the other dimensions and the other stratas that are within this dimension. Like a lot of the little glowing beings and stuff that we see and perceive, they're actually from here. They're not beings coming in from other places. They live here on Earth. It's just that, the cones and the rods in our eyes are not developed enough to be able to see them without using our psychic abilities. But they actually live here too. So.
I find this fascinating because we catch a lot of the rays and whatnot on camera now.
Yes.
It's not just a fragment or a lens. It's literally just these rays that are being caught now, and technology able to catch the different things that are happening out there. I saw some photos the other day from Shasta
Mm.
that I sat there and went, wait a minute, those aren't just clouds. Those aren't just clouds. And I'm also realizing like how many things are like changing in front of us right now. I I, I see I see billboards on the freeway talking about positivity, about raising the vibration, about gratitude, about kindness. When I'm out and about, the reality I'm living in, I literally see reminders of this all the time. You know, it's amazing. I want to acknowledge our audience. Denise loved the practice and says thank you. Angel says thank you, Jed. You guys have been wonderful today. So to work with Angie, what you do is you go to crystalarrays.com, which has been up here. This is why I didn't put it across the screen because she's got it right here. This is how that you go and you work with Angie directly. Tapping into your psychic abilities. Because we have multi dimensions and all possibilities, that means outcomes can also be so different depending on those possibilities. So we have some time and let's unpack choices because choices are so important in this quantum verse that we live in. It's because that's really, we talk about frequency, but that has something to do. I'll just give a short thing real quick. I had an experience recently. I knew it was against the fabric of my integrity. So I had to make a decision to not dive into something that was against the fabric of my integrity. But because I fought with that, it wasn't I don't believe karma. I don't believe in good bad and karma things because I don't believe in right and wrong. I know that sounds horrible to everybody. But oh well. Anyway, um but in that I had to see it wasn't vibing with my when my frequency goes down, I'm so sensitive to it and I know. So you know what I did? I said no. It took me about 3, 4 days, guys. Tell you what, I fought with that. I fought with it because my human body, my humanness wanted to say, oh, yeah, let's go, let's go. My other side of me was like, mm-mm, no, I know we can call that the angel, the devil fight, but it's the good and bad fight, but it's not good and bad. It's frequency. What frequency felt better? When I was in the vibration of fighting it, I started having poo poo hit the fan, guys. Shit hit the fan, seriously. Okay. And I sat back. This was yesterday. I sat back yesterday morning and I went, oh, yeah, no, no. Halt. That right in its little no. We're going to stop this immediately. I'm going to do what's right in the fabric of my integrity, no matter what. I don't care what you want, human body. I get you, but too bad. Then later that night, I went to CVS and this happens. I go because I had to get some things, and I look at the make or the face wash aisle, and I said, "Oh, look at all that." At some point, I'm gonna need to come and do all that. Oh, I'll get to it. Right, it'll come. So because I just wasn't gonna do that right now. And then I'm at the checkout stand, and this lady walks up to me and she goes, "Oh, here," and hands me like all these incredible samples of La Roche Posay, and I'm like, "Oh my God, are you serious?" Like that happened that quick. Y'all listen. How quickly can you turn your day around? Is it I'll wait till tomorrow and I'll have a better day? No. You mind your vibe, see what's up. When you're going against the fabric of your integrity, switch it immediately. And that's what I did. And what I saw were, but it's just
Well,
because,
this is
yeah,
this
it
is
was a trip.
getting, yeah, this is being in your mastery, right? When
Yeah,
when when we're in a place where life just happens to us, it is a very fearful place because most of the
yeah,
people are operating in different bands, different flavors of anger, fear, hopelessness, shame, and guilt, right? But when we begin to master our universe and we start taking charge of what's happening in us, right? There is wonder inside of you beyond what you can imagine right now, beyond it, because you haven't gotten close to those frequencies yet where that exists. But when we do what Debbie did and we weigh a situation and we say, this isn't best for me, right? And even though part of me really, really wants
oh
this,
yeah,
I'm
it
gonna
was
have to say
so
no,
tough.
you know? And we
Yeah,
and we do that and we keep taking that higher route, right? Consistently building and building and building and building on our potential for happiness and peace and inner peace, we begin to get close to the realms and sense them. We get a scent of our potential, of our true potential. But when we're too low in the frequency ranges, we don't even have a scent of it, even a clue of it. And there's just people like me that are talking about that it exists, and we're rolling our eyes, right? Because it's inconceivable. But every choice is leading us more to love, more to peace, more to lack of resistance. We're not fighting what is, right? And we're beginning to create the reality that we live in with our every thought and with our every emotion. We get close to really realizing what it is to be a piece of God, right? Spirit indwelled, enlightened. And I don't have words. I don't have words to express what our true potential is. It is just off the charts.
I love this. Wow, that was beautiful. When my friend Bob Miller passed away, I had a dream a couple, 2 or 3 days later, and he was showing me his light body and how he could move and do all these great things because he had had strokes, so his movement was limited as a human. And I said, "Well," I'm like, "Hey, that's not fair. I want to do that too in this dream." He goes, "But that's it. You can. You can." I said, "So you don't have to wait. In this dream, you can. You don't have to wait." So, and I have truth chills with that. You can. Those of you who are waiting for the win, it's not going to come. So jump into your now. And that was what you just did, is give them a taste of what it's going to be like to jump into your now. And I remember when I was young, I was like 4, maybe 5. My mom could clear that up. And she said, "Just swim across the pool." She gave me $1. Did anything for $1, get $1. Okay, swim across the pool. But I remember when there were just moments like of that fear until you jump in and you just do it. You just jump in and you just do it. And I'm still here. And I got the $1. What do you know?
Yeah. Well, and fear is from the ego. And the ego is the operating system, the mind for the body. And
Right.
one of the main fundamental programs that it has is preservation of the body, right? And as long as we're identified with the ego, as long as we think we're the one experiencing the fear, it's a Herculean effort to overcome the fear. But as we meditate and as we develop the witness state or the observer state, we can disassociate, move away from. We can see the ego and see what it's experiencing and love it for trying to protect the body and take care of things, but not let it be the major deciding force. We can make decisions from outside of the fear, right? And then help the ego through the fear, right? And this is another level of mastery where you don't run your life from the thinking mind anymore. You run it from a different state, and that state is informed really through the witness, because the witness state can see what's going on and move that information back to the thinking mind, right? And move that calm back to the thinking mind, so that the ego, the thinking mind, can have another option, right? And it's all about choice. And I mean, we can certainly dive into the fear and the no, I can't do this. That's fine. And we know what the result of that's going to be. It's always been
Exactly.
the same, but this is an invitation to try something different and get a different outcome.
Absolutely, 100%. Absolutely. To do something different, to get a different outcome. A lot of people say, "Well, how do you change your life?" One decision at a time. I love this. Instead of going, people have heard this before, take a different route to work, do something differently. Do something differently. How would you normally respond to the person who's pissing you off? How would you normally react? Do something differently. Ask, try curiosity, recognize them, acknowledge them. I see you're having a really piss ass freaking shitty day. I know it's tough. What's going on? What can I do for you? What can I be
And
of service?
there's always the option to not make whatever's happening out there about you.
Holy Mother of God. Wait a minute. Wait. Shit. It's not about me. Oh, damn.
The ego's greatest fear is that everything isn't about it.
It's not about me. That's such a kick in the ass. Neil Donald Walsh. Conversations with God. There's this piece where somebody who is home says, down on their luck, comes up to him, really wants to see him live. Says, "Come on, I really want to see you. I've only got 10 cents. I mean, to my name, but I really, really need to get into your conference." So Neil says, "How much money do you have right now?" He says, 10 cents. Go find somebody and give away the 10 cents. But I want to come, but how is that going to get me in to see your conference? Be that in which you seek. Be that in which you seek.
Mm.
Be that in which you seek. Period. 2 years later, the guy walked into Neil's conference, and he had a successful business. Yada yada yada. This is a true story. Okay, one small decision. Be that you seek. You are here to be of service. You are not here for yourself. You're here to remind some other human being on this planet today that they matter. Somebody else, and this is a challenge to everyone, who are you going to leave a heartprint on today? Who? Somebody's going to come into your vortex, your reality, and you get to leave an imprint on them. We got our big jobs to do today, and we also have some gratitude moments as well. So, who are you grateful for? Who are you grateful for? Keep that in mind as you go throughout your day today. And I want to play quickly something really super neato besito. In case you all don't know, Spirituality Gone Wild has opened an Untamed Club, and I am really super excited about it. It is only $22 a month, which is awesome, but you get access to everybody's courses that are on the SGW team. Okay, so here you go.
Hi, I'm Steve Weber, co-creator and host of the American Gumption Morning Show. The Spirituality Gone Wild Untamed Club is a dynamic platform of spiritual synergy. Our co-creators are some of the most sensational spiritual leaders out there, and you get unlimited access to their content, all located in one place. The Untamed Club is full of personal and spiritual growth tools, countless hours of content, a number of courses, and many more things that you can use to raise your vibration and lift your soul energy. Whether you're seeking connection, collaboration, community, or communication, this club is for you. Feed your spirit the nutrients it deserves and try the Untamed Club for free today. I hope to see you there.
Do 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 do.
I just love Steve.
I love Steve too, and thank you, Steve, for doing so. It was not the cutest little video.
It
seriously.
was.
I know.
I think I'm going to get to meet him. He said he's going to be coming through Boulder, Colorado, and wants to meet me. So I'm excited to get to meet him in person.
I love this, and I think we're all going to be meeting in person because we have a lot of really big things happening on the front of Spirituality Gone Wild, and also with our collaborative partners, Unify and Peace 2030.Earth. We do house the Jedi Peace training, so you guys need to go there. It's always free. And you and I are going to continue to talk because I want Reverend Angie to be here as much as possible, and the reason why is that you are one person I can bring on here. Now, well, there's a lot of you. I love all of you that I bring on. It's just that you and I have these conversations that just are exploding into realms and possibilities, and I hope that this conversation about what could be real in our realities, quantum style, are helping you to expand your own life, your own existence, and your own beingness. And we're past the hour. Go figure. Anything? Do you have anything left to say? Because I better close it out.
Yeah, I just wanted to invite everyone, if you haven't, please go to my website. There is a free download there for a very short version of a crystal array. I think it's only like 12 minutes. But if you drop in and listen to it, the energies are just exquisite. And also available for like very cheap is 12 different longer arrays, all different. You can try them like spices in your life. And part of changing our frequency is getting in new frequencies. And that's what the crystal arrays really do, is they give us these new potential energy blueprints to live by. So help yourself. Go enjoy.
I'm just sitting here. Okay, so you're located in Colorado?
Boulder, Colorado.
Boulder, Colorado. And I'm looking at this, that you have a whole lot of amazing things. You have a bed?
Oh, the orgone generator crystal bio bed. Yeah, that is totally spirit inspired. It was based on a Lemurian operating theater and rebuilt using the same principles into 2021. Well, actually, it was built about 5 years ago. So it's super ancient tech.
I'm sitting here looking at it. It's fascinating. And I'm going to tell you all you need to go to this website. Now I'm going to post it right here into the chat.
And it's very early in the morning for me to actually get to my office, because I have to drive like 3 towns away to Boulder to get to my office. But I want to do one of these shows with Debbie from the Crystal Sanctum, where that orgone generator crystal bio bed is, because all of you energy sensitive people are going to feel that.
Let's do that. Let's do it.
It just saturates the interviews.
I'm like all about that right now. Let's just do that. Oh yeah. Well, my friend Penny came over with this incredible technology, this Vibrasound bed that you lay on, and it's great. It's a Dr. Steven Schwartz. You would love it. Anyway, I was all vibing, and I'm looking at this going, yeah. Oh, I'm like ready to climb.
It's amazing.
In this bed. You guys have to go to the website and check this out. It's rad.
I've had physicists come and look at it, and just all types of people interested in energy have come to tour this bed. And it is, I could tell you all kinds of stories, Debbie, about the things that we've had to do, because it's like an energy plant. It produces a very large amount of energy. And so we've had to build all kinds of containment fields around it and all kinds of stuff. It's just wild.
Are you serious? Check this out. Denise, you rock. She says, I can fill out already. Website looks amazing. Oh, right? I know. I was just checking that out. Make sure that you guys get the free download so you can really start integrating a lot of these frequencies that Reverend Angie's brought forward, because it's really important stuff, And
they're so clean. That's the amazing thing about crystals, is it's one of the cleanest energy transferences there is. It's just beautiful. And so you don't have to worry about getting frequencies that you don't want, right? It's just clean.
We like clean. Clean.
Crystal clear and clean.
All right, everybody. So we will catch you later. If you missed Steve Weber this morning, go back and watch the replay. And today you will see Saf Buxey on with TJ Woodward, and that'll be at 10 a.m. actually, so in an hour. And catch out Scott Stanfield and everybody else that is on Spirituality Gone Wild, Joan of Angels, and actually just go to the website, spiritualitygonewild.com, and you'll see a list of all the shows and all of our beautiful co-creators. All right? And we'll see you on the inside of the Untamed Club.
Bye-bye.